audiobooks have become super popular here and throughout the reading community. They were originally developed back in the 1930s specifically for the blind. A lot of veterans coming back from World War I had vision impairments. The GI Bill allowed them to get an education, but sometimes reading was not really a good option if you lost some eyesight or became blind during the war. Library of Congress, along with some other folks, developed an audiobook service specifically to meet the needs of that audience. As is so often the case, when you make something more accessible with one group of people in mind, it becomes accessible to a whole range of people, to everybody, in ways that weren't originally imagined.
My name is Lisa Ciampelli, and I'm the Children's Strategist for the Monroe County Public Library. Audiobooks and playaways are a chance for children to sometimes enjoy a story that might be a little bit above their reading level, but audiobooks still allow us to practice visualization, comprehension skills, and often most important for beginner readers is to hear fluent reading, someone who's really reading with expression.
We have had a collection of audiobooks here at the library since the 1970s. Started with books on cassette. Books on CD are still the most common format. We now have this newer format called a playaway. So these are self-contained books on basically a little MP3 player. You have to provide a battery and headphones, but with that it will play a book. Nice thing about these is with the headphones you can slip it into your pocket, go about your day, do chores, go out for a walk, and enjoy an audiobook experience. You can also plug it into a car stereo or a home stereo.
The read-alouds that we have, the read-along collection, has some fabulous picture books that are going to have all sorts of rich vocabulary and sentence structure and fun stories, so children can listen to the story and follow along with the book. But we have audiobooks for really all ages, so the playaways and the books on CD and of course all the downloadables are going to have stories that appeal to older kids. And it's just a great way to enjoy stories in another way.
My name's Ryan. I'm the non-print selector here at Monroe County Public Library. I choose the movies, music, and downloadable and e-materials for people to enjoy. That does include audiobooks in physical and digital format. Cloud Library is a great resource for people to be able to get e-audiobooks and regular e-books. It's free using your library card. You log in, you set up an account. Once you do that, your machine or your mobile device will remember your account, and you just go straight in and start choosing and borrowing. So I'm here on the Cloud Library page. I get to that through the library's main website. I go to eLibrary to pull up Cloud Library. Once I go there, it'll take me to Cloud Library's main page, and you'll see that Cloud Library has different what are called bookshelves set up here. April is Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, so we put some items up there, and then you'll see that there are different categories for each bookshelf going down, like recently added ebooks, recently added e-audiobooks, new fiction, that sort of thing. I can also filter just to look at e-audiobooks by going to filters, unchecking ebooks, and if I wanted to see what was just available now, I could also choose to do that. If I were to do that, I just let the screen refresh, and it'll bring up all the e-audiobooks that are available right now. There's thousands of titles in Cloud Library, so if I wanted to, say, look at just our action adventure titles, I could choose that subcategory, and from there, apply the filters that I was talking about also to just get e-audiobooks. Listening's easy. You just borrow the book by clicking on the title. Once the checkout screen appears, I just click borrow, and from there it'll automatically download to my computer or device. From there, it's as easy as clicking listen. That'll take me to the playback page after it downloads, which is a very quick process. And from there, I'll see my chapters, and you'll see the familiar controls to be able to just start listening.
Reading doesn't just happen through text and through your eyes. Listening to a book, we absolutely consider that reading. Sometimes having a voice that's not in your imagination give life to the characters adds an extra element. So we actually just had our first meeting of an audiobook book club here in April. We'll have a follow-up discussion on June 7th at the library. We've decided on the book All the Light We Cannot See, which is interesting because one of the main characters is blind. So it's and we're actually focusing this program for people with limited vision or who are blind, who listen to books in audio formats. So it'll be a traditional book club in that we're talking about a book that we liked or maybe didn't like, but we're specifically talking about the audio version, so we get to talk about the narration and the way characters were represented by one voice, which is an interesting aspect that doesn't really apply to text.
My name's Adrian Essene. I spend a lot of time advocating for children and young people with disability. Some of you may be familiar with my column in the Herald Times that runs every other Tuesday on autism and disability-related issues. I've been doing that now for 3 years. But I think also as a young person with a disability, sometimes people with disability are often socially isolated. So having a program like an audiobook book club through a public library is often seen as a gathering place for all types of people in the community, including people with disability. Having a program such as an audiobook book club sponsored through a public library can be very appealing to people with disability, including visual impairment, to come together and to do something in a social context and draw them out of their shell, draw them out of their homes to a community gathering place. So, for Monroe County Public Library to do something like this, I'm very thankful and it's very appealing to me.